What's going on, and welcome to another ride along vlog. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. I want to kind of catch people up who are interested in what I've been doing with my car and where I'm going with it, and discuss a few mods and things that are on the horizon for me. Last time that I did an update like this, I talked about the mods that I wanted to do to the car, so I didn't quite take the path that I thought I would take at the time. So at the time, I wanted to do the transmission cooler and then go to stage 1 and beyond. I wanted to protect the transmission from overheating or premature wear by installing the transmission cooler. And the reason why I didn't do the transmission cooler is because I moved to New York. I moved up north from Virginia, so it's much colder up here, and I don't drive my car aggressively and I don't track the car. I don't think that if you are using the car as your daily driver and you don't abuse it, I don't think that a CVT cooler is necessary. Not only that, but if something was to happen to the transmission and you have that CVT cooler installed and you can't uninstall it by the time you take it to the dealer, more than likely, and I'm just guessing here, but more than likely your warranty is going to be denied based on that cooler. Even though the cooler is shown to be beneficial, it doesn't matter. It's still a part that's not authorized on your car. If you wanted to take that chance and install the transmission cooler unnecessarily, then that's a chance you're taking. All dealers are different. Some might not even care, but they could, and that possibility is there. So if you don't do anything to your car at all, no other mods that can potentially void a warranty claim on your engine or transmission, if you do nothing else and you wanted to protect your transmission by installing a CVT cooler, then you're putting yourself in jeopardy by doing that. Obviously, if you're doing other mods, then it doesn't matter. So since I'm doing other mods, it doesn't matter to me, but I decided that stage 1, I would get more use out of it in the short term. I did put out a community poll on my channel, and most people want my next big mod to be the CVT cooler. I'm definitely doing the CVT cooler. I want to do it right, and I definitely want to share with you absolutely everything that there is to share in these videos. That being said, that's going to be probably my next mod, but there's some other supporting mods that I want to install before I go beyond to stage 2. Right now, I'm stage 1 plus, which means that I have the off-the-shelf tune and a cold air intake, right? Stage 1 plus. I don't have any other power mods in the car, and stage 1 plus does more for the drivability of the car than it does for giving you power. So you're not going to necessarily see a big increase in power. You're going to see some, but not that much. The car is going to get much friendlier and better to drive. I did a whole video covering that, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. So the next stage in my little journey here is to go to stage 2. I know I said before in my 5 things you should know about the WRX CVT video that you were pretty much locked into stage 1 if you got the car with a CVT, but that's no longer the case. More and more people are venturing out there and modding their car and having positive experiences. I think more and more people are adding to the collective knowledge of this car and pushing the boundaries of the car and realizing the things that they have to do to make sure that they are modding safely, that you can go beyond stage 1 safely if you're smart about it. You still need to do some supporting mods to make sure that your transmission doesn't fry. You still have to drive as conservatively as possible. In other words, you shouldn't be launching your car even if you're stage 2 and you did all of the supporting mods that you're supposed to do. You shouldn't be launching your car all the time. You're probably asking for your transmission to go. While I did say before that stage 1 was probably going to be the end game for this car, personally, I'm going to stage 2. So I'm going to take it beyond for several reasons. I want to increase the power of the car. I want to share my experience with everybody, continue making these videos, and I want to see how much I can push it. In order to do stage 2 right and be economical about it, I don't want to have to do multiple tunes, and I want to definitely get a pro tune on the stage 2 parts that I put in the car. I don't want to run an off-the-shelf map, even if there was an off-the-shelf map. There isn't one, but if there was an off-the-shelf map, I wouldn't want to run it anyhow. So since it has to have a pro tune, it would behoove me to have all of the parts installed first and then get the tune done. The mods that I'm going to be doing, that I'm researching right now, are going to be TGV EGR delete. Now, we talked about that a little bit before. I'm still not completely sold on the TGV delete yet. And the reason is because when you delete the TGV, you could have idling issues if your tune is not good enough. So I'm still doing a little bit more research on that. The EGR, the exhaust gas recirculation valve, that one's definitely going to be done. That one takes exhaust gas and recirculates it back into your intake. That causes a lot of carbon buildup over time. It's just not necessary. It's an emissions thing. I'm getting rid of it. When you do the EGR and TGV deletes, you do get some horsepower because the car can breathe better. There are some benefits on there, and because you're changing the breathing characteristics of the car, these mods require a tune. Another thing that I'm going to do is an air oil separator. So I'm still doing research on this, but the air oil separator is going to take those vapors that are going into the intake, right? It's going to take those vapors and it's going to take the oils that are in the vapors and it's going to separate them from the air. That way you don't get those oils where they shouldn't be inside your engine. Now, this is all going to affect the longevity of the car. You're improving the ability of your car to operate at higher RPMs effectively and safely, right? So air oil separated, TGV, EGR deletes. I wanted to do a bypass valve also so that the car can hold boost better. And obviously, get the J-pipe. That'll pretty much complete the stage 2 aspect of it. There might be a couple other little things I do depending on what I need at the time. That's the path that I'm going to be taking, or that at least I think I'm going to be taking.
Okay, so I want to throw in a couple of notes that I didn't mention when I initially recorded this video. What supporting mods you end up installing for stage 2 will largely depend on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're taking the car to the track, you might pay more attention to your brakes, your tires, and cooling mods like the CVT cooler, top mounted intercooler or front mounted intercooler, engine oil cooler, due to the heat that will be generated by sustaining higher RPMs for longer. And the same goes for the brakes, which are super important. Now, if you just want more power for the occasional overtaking on the highway, or just for overall more responsiveness, your stock tires and cooling system will likely be good enough, with maybe the exception of your CVT cooler and the stock brake pads, which should also still get replaced with performance pads in the least. If you're looking to make your car loud and flashy, then of course you'll be focusing on your exhaust and an upgraded intake and bypass valve, that sort of thing. This is just a sample of things to consider, and it just goes to show you that you have to really think about your objectives and what will work for what you're trying to accomplish, rather than blindly following someone else's build. Before installing a part that is not 100% necessary for you, you have to carefully consider risk versus reward, because any installed part basically becomes another thing that can break, or yet another component that can further complicate a tune. The thing that ties the entire build will ultimately be the tune. For this car and this transmission, it's important to apply a conservative tune, especially at stage 2, so my plan is to apply a tune that can push the parts as much as it can, but safely.
So those are the power mods that I'm doing. Probably not going to be able to go much further than that without doing some more intrusive mods to the car that are probably a little too expensive to be worthwhile in this car. In other words, if you're going to be doing that, you might as well get a car with a manual transmission, or you might as well get an STI. One of those things. I want to get an STI someday. I'm really looking to see how I can keep the car. I don't want to trade it in. There's 3 other mods that I'm going to do that were in that poll. I'm going to be installing a remote starter. I'm going to be sealing all 4 doors, the inside rattle proofing, sealing the doors to get more mid-bass response from the speakers. I may, at that point, take the front speakers and replace them with better speakers and drive them with the inline amp that I have in my garage doing nothing. I may do that. I haven't decided yet, but I'm definitely going to seal the doors, and that's going to cut down on road noise and improve the mid-bass response, and I think that's going to be a really good thing. And finally, and this is super necessary, I'm going to be installing performance brake pads and probably painting the calipers while I'm at it. The brakes that came with this car are not adequate for spirited driving, not at all. I can't tell you how many times that I got a little overzealous with a gas pedal and then found myself really slamming on the brakes because it just wasn't responding as much as I wanted it to. This car, the stock brakes that come with it are not for spirited driving. So if you're driving your car aggressively, you need to improve the brakes on it. And of course, I'm going to be sharing all that with you. The exterior of the car is also going to get some love. My front lip, I broke it during the move. It may or may not get replaced with the same one. I'm not sure yet. And I've even been considering wrapping the car just to change the color and give it something crazy and protect it even further, especially from the harsh winters here in Buffalo. Also going to be tinting my windows, even though if you live in New York, you can't really have tinted windows below 70%. So that's basically nothing. But since I kept my Virginia plates, I might just tint my windows after all. In a nutshell, those are the mods that are on the horizon for me. There's never a shortage of mods and video ideas. I just don't have the time to do it all. I do have a full-time job. So it's actually quite amazing that I'm able to put out as many videos as I do. Because honestly, I'm busy. I also have a baby at home. I really wish I could do this full time. You know, things are gonna really pick up at that point. I really enjoy putting out content. I really enjoy interacting with people here and learning. Most of my comments are very positive, and it's very encouraging. So for now, I'm trying to not go much more than 10 days or so without releasing a video. I mean, don't hold me to that, but I really am trying. So that's basically it for the foreseeable future, the mods that I'll be installing. It's been a lot of fun for the last 2 years to go from 0 subscribers to where I am now. I really appreciate every one of you who has subscribed to my channel, who have liked the video, who have shared things with me. My social media accounts, while I'm not that active in those accounts, I try every now and then to post something to them. They have been very useful for a lot of you who have had issues with your own installations and you have questions. Sometimes it's easier for me to interact back and forth if you're on one of those social medias rather than doing it through the comments on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. Until next ride along video, take care.